Hey everyone, it's Kristin, and today we're going to play with some Happy Mail. Now, you may recognize some of these beautiful paper ribbon that is made with accordion folded and then sewn paper scraps that my friend has sent me in the past. Her name is Robin, and she's as sweet as she can be. She knows how much I love these, so she sent me more. And in addition to that, I have an entire box of goodies. Check that out. There's even ribbon versions of it this time, and some amazing paper that she has made in a similar fashion, where as you can see there are scraps and pieces of various paper, whether or not they are painted papers or scrapbooking or decorative papers, but she has taken them and sewn them in this beautiful free fashion, and I love it. So I'm going to show you all of this loot, and thank you again, Robin, for sending it all to me, and we're going to do something with it. What we do, I have no idea. No clue. So if you want to find out what we do, just like I do, just keep watching. And as always, thanks for coming along. Okay, I figured it out. I now know what I want to do with all of these beautiful papers and trims that were sent to me by Robin. I've taken out my tried and trusty Tim Holtz tags. I love them. They're a great size. They're very sturdy. And when you add a jump ring, it is the easiest art journal ever. So I'm taking pieces of these beautiful sewn together pages by Robin and selecting areas that I want to use to be the base of a new tag journal. So this in the end is going to be a sneaky collab. Sneaky because Robin doesn't know about it, but I want to give her something in return. She's so sweet and generous to me that I want to take some of my favorite bits of what she's offered and put it in a book that she will then have in the end. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm cutting around the areas that I like, and I will eventually attach those with that trusty old glue stick. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to glue them all together, and in a moment we'll take the next step, which is to attach something to the back of each tag. Now that we have the front of each tag sorted, we need to add something to the back of each tag. And I wasn't sure exactly where to go with this. Originally, I considered using some painted papers of my own, but I didn't want to take away in the end from what we've got going on in the front. We have some beautiful bold patterns and colors, and I don't want to distract from that. So instead, we're going neutral, and I'm taking out some vintage materials. In this case, I have some old music sheets and some pages from an old fairy tale book. And I'm gluing that on the backs first before we move on to the next step. Okay, next step. We're going for some gesso. I have some water, both in a water bottle and in that little jar that you see there. And I want to use a watered down white gesso to blanket both the front and the back of each of these 6 tags. I don't want it to be very solid, so I'm taking a lot of water so that you can see the text still peeking through. I certainly could have used a clear gesso, but I love the way that white gesso looks. It's very milky and cool, and it'll be a great base for some color to come. Now for the color. Brea Reese, hello. Here we are again. But I'll tell you what I love about the Brea Reese watercolor inks, and certainly any watercolors, watered down acrylic paint, or watercolor inks will do. But the Brea Reese are pretty special. Not only do they have great prices, but the colors are so vivid and vibrant and blend together beautifully. So I'm going to take some of the inks and a little bit at a time, colors that complement one another will be going next to each other on each of these tags. And I'm trying to coordinate the back with the front. So if I have some colors on the back that in this case are green or blue, I'm going to add the same colors, green or blue, to the front. So we're going to go around and we're going to play with a little bit of watercolor ink and add some color to the front and back of each of these tags. And now for the PSA portion of our video, I'm just taking some of the remaining ink and using papers that I have around me and blotting up the excess. So the PSA is we don't want to waste our inks, of course. So this is a great way to use them up and have something for the future. And next, on to the good old doodle. Now, I'm not trying to be repetitive in all of my projects by adding the same doodle. You see, I have it in color now, that's different. But the reason I am specifically choosing to add this doodle to portions of each tag is because it is reminiscent of what I do. And in a collab, that's important. You have to put yourself out there in a way that speaks to what you do. So although this is that sneaky collab that Robin knows nothing about, I want to add things that represent what I do often in my tags so that she can have a little piece of me when she goes forward with decorating them herself. Now on to another step I often take, and that is to use a Gelly Roll pen in this beautiful glittering ink. Not only do I love this because it adds the shine and the shimmer, but it's actually a great buffer between harsh lines. So if you find that you have harsh lines like pencil lines, or in this case, pen lines that were drawn, they were so beautifully drawn, I did not know they were handmade. I thought it was a scrapbook paper, but it ran a little bit when I added some white gesso to it and smudged the ink. So in adding that glitter ink fine line on top of it, I was able to kind of fix that or correct that mistake. Great pen, highly recommend it. It adds special touches here and there that I just can't seem to live without. So now that we have a good base going on the front and back of each tag, we started with that watered down white gesso, added watercolor inks and those doodles. I'm now digging back into my stash from Robin, and I'm out for those paper trims. And they're just gorgeous. What she's done is she's taken painted papers, decorative papers. I even saw some pattern paper in there, as well as fabric and ribbon. And she's accordion folded them all before adding a running stitch throughout. And I just love the way it adds this really great 3D element to the tag. And to that, I'm going to add something I love working with, which is, as you know, that no shed glitter fabric. Next, we need a call to action, right? We need to find a way to encourage her to use this book when she receives it in any way she sees fit. So I found the perfect sentiment from an old children's dictionary, and it says, "We need one more player." And now for the final touches of this sneaky little collab that Robin never saw coming. I'm just taking some little bits and pieces. I cut out some circles and some little amoeba-like shapes out of that no shed glitter fabric and attaching them to the pages that I feel just need a little something extra. And that's what I love about things that sparkle and shine. They give it that little extra pop that really makes your eyes dance across the page. Lastly, we've pulled out embroidery thread. Embroidery thread in colors that complement what is now the front cover of our tag book. I'm pulling it through that center hole before adding some more little beads and baubles so that we have a little something extra. And now to bind. And it doesn't get any easier than binding with a jump ring, which is why I love making these little art journals out of tags and jump rings. And as you can see in this particular case, the jump ring is larger than this project calls for. But I don't want to limit Robin. I want her to be able to add as many tags in the future as she'd like, so I gave her the room to do so. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this little tag book journey, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Until next time.